what it seems is that the independents so far are seeming to be more independents are winning than it was expected. All the media projections and estimates were that, there will be very few independents. In fact, that's what I had also heard. And yesterday I did a vlog here for at New Wave in which I mentioned that, not many independents will win. But so far, the media projections are showing that. But then we also have to be very careful that this is 5 to 10% of total votes have been
Yeah.
counted
Yeah.
so far. So we
In
can't make
Punjab, in
yes.
Punjab, it's like at an average 4 to 5% votes have been counted. In Sindh, it is like from 7 to 10% votes have been counted.
Yeah.
7 to 10.
It's
But
so
in
much.
Punjab, well, what Raza was saying, sorry, Raza, I'm interrupting you.
Please, please.
Just that in Punjab, it is surprising for me to see that so far the projections suggest that independents are giving a really hard time to PMLN, which was something I was not expecting at least. But there's a lot of things that have to happen after the counting has just started and there's just few polling stations. Let's see what happens. I'm just happy that in NA 127 Bilawal is so far being projected as winning, and I really wanted him to win from Punjab, from Lahore, the heart of PMLN, as much as I want PMLN to win from Sindh or any other party to give tough time to PP in Sindh, because a strong opposition in every democracy is very important, and I'm worried about Sindh having eliminated all opposition, almost all opposition. GDA is there on a couple of seats. MQM is there on few seats in Karachi, but by and large, it's a straightforward People's Party that is winning so far.
Yes.
Yeah, GDA is doing pretty bad actually, right?
I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
Yes, but I think this whole you've already discussed. I was watching it on my phone. The mobile services, these are not very good indications. This election, unfortunately, so much pre-poll management was done. I want and to get their favorable results. But I think that was something alarming. The first thing that the government did in the morning was to shut down the mobile services. Now, this impacts the voter turnout. I think the real key issue here in this election of 2024 is the voter turnout. How far people have actually voted. We don't have figures now, but last election was 51%. So people are claiming that this time it's going to be between 35 to 45%.
Yeah.
These are just indications.
Yeah.
And turnout is very important. Regardless of who wins. That is we have to give people the chance to express their will and elect people, candidates of their choice. So what is really important is that there was a high turnout. I hope so. But I think what it seems now is that there will be a coalition government after this. The hopes for a single party government that the PMLN perhaps was hoping after this election might not be possible anymore. I think it seems that there will be a coalition government in which the Pakistan People's Party will have an important role, either as a kingmaker or as a supporting group. So it is, let's see, let's wait for a few more hours to find that out. I mean, these are the initial observations I have, Ms. Basab.
Yeah, it's a good point, and that kind of takes me to another question. And I would, with all your permission, I would start with Norez on this thing, economy. How you see that coming days when the new government will come, how they are going to, as Raza say, and very rightly so, and I think the same way, that there will be a coalition government. So there are a lot of issues they have to face, and if there will be another PDM with Ishaq Dar, finance minister, how you see economy would do?
I don't think Ishaq Dar will be if there is a coalition government. I don't think Ishaq Dar will be the finance minister.
I just made a joke. But like in overall, if it would be like some kind of PDM thing, then what you will do? What we will do?
That's actually an excellent question, and I might find myself repeating a little bit, but I think it's important. And also some of the viewers who've joined us recently is the fact that these elections are very crucial because of the trust that needs to be re-enabled that we have lost over the course of the last 1.5 years. May 9th being a huge evidence of how things have polarized and how disruptive things have got. The economy is not looking great at all. I think we've just been pushing the can down the road. And in order to, bring the economy back on, an upwards trajectory, some very key and tough decisions need to be made. And therefore, we need the point of a democratically, autonomously elected government is that it has the mandate and it has the confidence to make those decisions. For example, we've seen that the IMF program was stalled for over 9 months, which led to great depreciation of the currency. We were almost on the verge of default because of the fact that a political party that came into being after the vote of the no confidence lacked that sense of confidence, lacked that sense of power that it derives from the masses, and it wasn't being able to make those tough decisions. It had to appease the people. And how do you appease the people? By giving them subsidy on oil, by freezing oil prices, but the call of the day is something else. You're already bleeding your foreign reserves. You do not create oil. You need to import it. So in order to import oil, you need to pay the prices that are at par with the global market. And this puts the drain on the common man. But any party which lacks that confidence, which lacks that legitimacy, will always find it very troublesome to make those key decisions. And that is what I am afraid of going, post the results of this election, because of the people rigging that Rumi Saab just mentioned of, the discrepancies in the election process that were highlighted by Marvi Saiba, the suppression, the media suppression, the network disruptions that were, highlighted by Rabia, all these points that already there has been high amounts of pre-poll rigging, which will impact the voter confidence. And there's going to be a lot of chaos and a lot of questions raised about the legitimacy of the government, which again, it's being projected that it won't be a simple majority. So already it's going to be a coalition government. Coalition governments tend to be more frail and fragile than those who come with clear majorities. So in that end, I do not see that. I envision that the country is going to suffer economically as well. And 1.5 year onwards, we'll be at similar crossroads where there'll be another vote of no confidence maybe propping up. There'll be no improvement in economic indicators, greater unrest, greater agitation in the masses, and things looking very bleak.
Reza, let me give you a scenario here. Assume that a lot of independents win, and those independents with People's Party, with the MQM, they form a coalition and they make a government. Do you see any scenarios like that happening? And PMLN will be an opposition, and Mia Saab will be opposition leader. Please.
No, I don't see that scenario, because I think even if you look at the early projections, the PMLN is winning quite a bit of seats in the Punjab province. And, that is, unfortunately, that is how a lopsided federation in Pakistan works. If you win a good number of seats in the Punjab, then your ascension to power is kind of, guaranteed. So it will be a coalition. Earlier it was thought that, the PMLN might emerge as a single largest party. Then I'm saying all of this, it's very early to make any claim. So Shehbaz Sharif most likely will be a coalition prime minister. Now the question is whether the Pakistan People's Party will join that coalition like it did in the PDM government after Imran Khan was ousted through a vote of no confidence, or will it be a government of PMLN plus independents plus MQM plus smaller parties? That remains to be seen. And so most likely what is going to happen is that there will be a coalition government, and but of course it's too early to say, because before midnight in Pakistan we won't know exactly where things stand. I mean, Marvi just gave the numbers, 10% of the total votes. Now Norez, you're an economist, that gives a good vibe or a feel, as they say in the slang, but it does not tell you the exact number, because it's a very delicate balance at the polling stations.
Faraz.
Yeah, I think if there is a coalition government, I agree with Raza that Shehbaz Sharif will likely be the prime minister. But I think in terms of the economic issues and the challenges, I think they will do fairly okay. I mean, we can criticize them all we want for their 16 months in the government, but we have to, we did multiple shows with Khurram Hussain in 2019 on Naya Daur, on 2020, 2021. He categorically, I mean, it's on record. He said we are going towards default and we are heading towards default. And he predicted in 2019 and 2020 that the decisions that Imran Khan government is making now, the dollar will hit 300 plus by 2022. He exactly predict on our Naya Daur show. So, we have to give him a credit, for, basically saving Pakistan from going to default and for entering into a new IMF program. So we can criticize them, but I think as a coalition, with all these challenges, when they had it was a pretty big coalition with so much challenges, so much disagreements. They still survived. They still were able to get into the IMF program. They saved Pakistan from going into default. So I think I don't think if there is a coalition government, it will be too bad for Pakistan. I think they will do fairly okay, and they have, they right now Bilawal Bhutto is trying to disown himself and all the decisions that were made in the PDM government. But I think this is all election. This is election time, and this is the reason he did it. But I think once they form a coalition government, they will do fairly okay. And this is my assessment. Ishaq Dar may not be the finance minister, but personally, I don't see any economic. I think they will make tough decision. Like the way they did before in their 16 months in government. They basically paid price for it. PMLN actually paid a bigger price for it, but they didn't make the popular decision. They made the right and tough decisions.
Rabia?
I was busy going through some of the election results. I mean, it's super early, as Raza was saying, but I something caught my eye that Saad Rizvi was leading in
Yes.
it's one of his areas, and now that everyone is talking about, who's going to play kingmaker, what's going to, so which party is going to play which role, because there's no one clear majority. What kind of a role do people think that the party like TLP is playing, considering they've played much of a role since 2017, and strategically they end up playing certain roles. So I was just curious about what do people think about TLP's role now, and if they are going to. I mean, it looks like they will get a seat or two. I think they had two in Sindh last time, and one in NA. So if Saad Rizvi is in the National Assembly, or or they're going to be in the Punjab as well, what is going to become of our sort of just the security landscape, if nothing else. And I was just seeing there was another attack in Dia Khan on the police. So the Khurasan diaries, they follow such militant attacks, and there was just been another attack, and there are 3 policemen who've been injured. So I mean, this is like within 24 hours they've been continuously been targeted in KP.
Yeah,
Marvi?
one thing before Marvi, the shutting down the mobile phone services is not an ideal decision, but we have to look at the challenges that Pakistan is facing. The mobile services is shut down even on the when the religious procession of Muharram takes place, and especially and also during the Rabiul Awwal, these mobile services often are shut down. And we have seen the series of attacks that have taken place in KP, in Balochistan, and even I was speaking to the MKM House in Karachi. They were also very afraid yesterday that there could be a big TTP attack or big this Khorasan diaries and all these other extremist group could actually conduct an attack. So even political parties themselves were afraid. And if you remember, now Marvi and everybody would remember that in 2008, the series of attacks that were taking place in KP, the People's Party and ANP could not even protest. It was only Jamaat Islami and PTI that were allowed to, they were not even able to conduct their rallies. It was only PTI and Jamaat Islami that were allowed to conduct the election campaign in KP and Balochistan. People's Party and ANP were basically not giving the fair level playing field. So I know it's not an ideal decision, but if my mobile service, if I'm in Pakistan, if my mobile service is off, I will still go and vote. I mean, it doesn't stop me from voting.
I think it's sorry, but it's quite simplistic to say that the interruption in internet access does not interfere with people's freedom of movement and freedom to do anything. And I would not give this leeway to any government that indulges in this kind of digital authoritarianism. It is in straightforward contravention and violation of ICPRs, on which Pakistan is signatory, by the way. ICPR's Article 19 and Pakistan's own Article 19. For heaven's sake, why are we giving the government so much of benefit of doubt? And it is not about security. For heaven's sake, it is not about security. We have seen in the past